Hello everyone, this is Zach from Average Joe Warhammer. This is the first video that I've ever posted on YouTube, and it's also going to be the first in a little series where I go through some of my favorite kit-bashed custom models that I've made or that I have, and I'm just going to be doing kind of a little showcase and also talking through how I come up with ideas, what the ideas are behind the models, and then how they're actually made, what parts I used, and stuff like that. So this first one I've chosen is my Chaos Lord on bike, or trike, I guess, in this case. This was made just before they went and Legends the Chaos Lords on bikes, so that was pretty sad to see, but I really enjoyed working on this model. It was something I always wanted to have for my World Eaters. I knew I wanted this to be my Warlord, as my idea for the army was kind of like a Mad Max theme. Just a bunch of berserkers going really fast on custom bikes and choppers and different vehicles like that. So, as you can probably tell, the base model was a Space Marine attack bike, which is their kind of bike with sidecar. And I knew I wanted it to almost be more like a Roman chariot type thing with one guy driving and then the actual Lord himself being the passenger and being able to swing some sort of big crazy weapon around like a maniac that he is. So what I did was I more or less chopped up the sidecar, and then I needed to make it bigger. So this is something I wanted to touch on. We're called Average Joe here because I'm not professional. I'm not super good at this stuff. I'm just kind of learning as I go. This was something I made before I ever had green stuff. It's before I ever had any of the better materials and tools like that. So I just kind of had to use what I had on hand. No plastic card, anything like that. So to make the little car actually bigger, there's everything from, you can see under his foot, that's actually a little piece of sprue. And then the actual floor itself, I'll turn it over and you can see better. I've just kind of used some extra little pieces of plastic wedged in there and obviously glued together just to fit. And this was a really fun thing to build for me. It was fun to just kind of find, it was almost like building a puzzle, right? Like you gotta find what fits. Same on the back. I believe this little thing is from a Land Raider, and it just happened to be the right size. And you can see I kind of have filled in gaps with little skulls and things there. So yeah, I just kept kind of picking away at it. I think there's another little piece of a sprue along the side here. Picking away at it, and I had to readjust a couple times just to make sure that it was big enough for him to actually stand. Now, I'll get to the guy himself. The legs are actually Primaris Chaplain legs. I had used the body for something else. It's a normal Chaos Marine torso. The head is a Primaris Hellblaster head, I believe. Arm is a Chaos Marine arm. This arm is a Terminator arm. And the reason I went with the Terminator arm is I figured he's got to hold this massive, ridiculous axe. So that's going to be his bigger, more jacked up, armored arm. Of course, we're World Eaters. We've got to have chains all over the place, chained to his weapon to hold that on. The chains, and maybe I'll do a little video on where to find cheap and easy hobby materials. You can just get those from the dollar store. You can just get cheap necklaces and whatever, or maybe you have some old ones lying at home. Maybe you got kids that have old cheap ones that they don't want anymore. Just clip them up, clip them to whatever size you need. They're super easy to use, super easy to paint, glow on. They really add a lot of, or glue on, they add a lot of character to the model, I find. The axe is a Chaos Marine maul or mace with a Demon Prince's axe head attached just there where the spike bit is. And then I've painted it to be kind of, like it's on fire or it's like molten. It's a very hot axe, they're hot this time of year. Obviously, we're World Eaters. We've covered it in lots of skulls, just from the normal Citadel skull box. This is actually my favorite part. You can see it there. I actually made it so that the wheels still spin, and I do when I'm playing against my friends with this, I do kind of zoom it around the board. It's a lot of fun. So we'll get over to the bike itself. I wanted it to be more silly, more custom looking, and you know what's more silly and custom than like an American chopper, right? So these are, I actually got these brass pieces, or these brass rods. They're from old vacuum hoses from my work. I have to cut them out of the vacuum hose and then bend them straight. It's a fair bit of work, but you can get these all over the place. Different things will have them in them. If you've just got, I don't even know, there's probably scrap toys or things, but I know you can get them from different hobby stores and whatever. They're pretty cheap, and like you can find them in everywhere. I've used old pieces of wire or old cords or things will have maybe not necessarily nice straight pieces like that, but different things you can use for hobbying. But so that's what those are. They're drilled into the frame of the bike and then drilled into the wheelbase here, glued in place, and then I wrap chains around them to give them a little bit more thickness because they were a little bit skinny. I don't remember what this spiky thing is from, but that's just glued onto the edges of the wheels. I imagine this thing vrooms forward and then rams into people. I've got it all covered in blood there, lots of skulls. The rider himself is the normal Space Marine, like Loyalist Marine legs that were a part of the bike originally, with just a new Chaos Marine head, torso, and I think it's just this arm and obviously the backpack. I think the arm, the great thing about the old Marines and the new Marines is that the arms and the shoulder pads are all like universal size. So if that's a Loyalist arm, then you can put a Chaos Marine shoulder on it and it will fit just fine. And really, like, the arms are all interchangeable too. It's just like the legs that change. Like the old Marine and the old Chaos Marine legs are so much smaller, but when he's sitting like this, you can't really tell. You can't tell that it's a newer body on an older style of legs. And that's pretty much it. I haven't really seen, I don't know if I've seen anybody else do a wacky chariot tricycle Chaos Lord before. And so that's kind of what I want to do with this series. I want to maybe this gives somebody else an idea. Obviously I'm not the best painter, and obviously I'm not the best kit basher in the world, but I do think I come up with some kind of unique and weird ideas, and that's my favorite part of the hobby, is to think of something that maybe somebody else hasn't thought of, or do something a different way, and then if I can share that, and maybe somebody else can make something else weird in a similar style or a similar idea. Maybe you can make a Loyalist version of this. But like I said, my idea was that this is like a Mad Max World Eaters Force, lots of custom vehicles, you know, flying at the enemy super fast, and that was my inspiration for it all. This guy is usually my warlord in games, even though he's a Legends model. He's a lot of fun to use. He's obviously bigger than a standard guy on bike. He's a lot wider. So, I mean, I guess you could say, like, if you can't obviously take Legends models to most tournaments anyway, but I guess somebody could say, oh, he's a little bit wider, so his aura range is a little bit bigger than it should be, or something like that. And if you're playing with somebody like that, one, they're probably not very fun anyway, but if you are in that situation, then you could compromise and just say, okay, well, we'll just count the aura range as the actual bike part, or, you know, whatever. Or you could say even, well, he's a little bit bigger, so his aura range is a little bit bigger, but now he himself is easier to see. You know, you can't really hide this guy. He's too tall, he's wide. It's not a small model anymore. It's not just a little guy on a bike, so it's give and take. And that's kind of something I'll touch on in a different video, maybe, about the idea behind a kit bash, and does it look like what it represents. Obviously this is a lord on a bike. We got a lord, he's on a bike, and I usually equip him with plasma pistol and a power axe, and I usually give him the special relic World Eater's axe, Gore Father or Gore Child, I mix up which one it is, but and so he's got a big crazy axe. So yeah, this is my first video on YouTube. Hopefully this uploads fine, hopefully everything looks good, and like I said, I'll do a little series of this where I show off some of my weirder kit bashed models, And if you like what you see, feel free to check out my Instagram, Average Joe Warhammer. There's dashes in between the words. And yeah, thanks for watching, if anybody does. And feel free to like and subscribe if you like this. You want to see some more weird models, or don't. That's totally up to you. You might completely hate it. I have definitely heard some people hate weird models, and I mean, you know, if you want to live a boring life, I mean, that's up to you. But personally, I like the weird custom models. All right, take care.